that was Max Suddeth there, right there, and he's with My Sci, and they have that new exhibit up there. And as I mentioned earlier, some of our guests will be building something here. I'm not sure what day it is, but it won't be today. So James, you don't have to build.
Thank you.
Yes, even though he's with Better Neighborhoods.
That's right.
And housing.
And we build things.
And you build things. Good. You were here earlier, and Mayor McCarthy says, oh, yes, I know him very well. You're working together. Tell us, what does Better Neighborhoods Incorporated do?
Well, Better Neighborhoods Incorporated is a 49-year-old not-for-profit housing improvement agency that's been based on Albany Street in the city of Schenectady for a very long time.
Well, I'd say 49 years is a long time.
Yeah. So we focus on several things. We build new homes, we rehabilitate homes, and we sell our homes to homeowners, first-time homeowners mostly.
Now, do you buy the house? I mean, suppose there's one that's kind of like iffy. Do you buy that and then have someone build it? How does that work?
Well, technically, yes, we buy them, but for $1.
Okay.
We buy them from the city, and so the city typically gives the BNI several houses to work on.
So, and it's really to improve.
It's to fix up the house,
Better neighborhoods.
get it back on the tax rolls, and get a homeowner in the house.
Yeah.
So that's the goal. And but we also provide another really important service. We provide housing counseling to both home buyers and to people who own a home and are having trouble maintaining it or dealing with their budgetary problems. But we also provide counseling to folks who are going through foreclosure.
Ooh, ouch.
And yeah, it's not a comfortable or happy topic, but it's an important one. And there are literally hundreds of people in the city who are going through foreclosure right now.
Are these absentee landlords, or are these
No,
just
these
regular working people that are just trying to make it?
For the most part, these are homeowners who are living in the home.
Okay.
So we do provide some counseling, but it's really very rare to deal with an investor in our agency.
Probably some don't care much, but
Well, they don't care, and they can always.
they're out of this. If they're absentee landlords, they're good.
Well, and even if they live in the city, it's not their home. It's
Yeah.
a business venture, so losing it is not the same importance as it does to someone who, of course, is a homeowner and lives in the home.
If you're faced with foreclosure, what are steps that you can take? I mean, this is a long process, I understand.
It's a very long process. Excuse me. But there are many steps that you can take. And the first thing to do if you're going through a foreclosure or if you receive a letter from your bank is to call us up.
And read the letter.
And, well, you can read the letter. Some people, it's my impression.
I mean, a lot of them don't even want to look at
Well,
it.
that's exactly where I was headed.
Oh.
Many people want to avoid this, so they take the letter and they put it in a dark place so they don't have to look at it, and then the letters build up, and then at some point it becomes a crisis. Even at the late parts of the foreclosure process, we still can help. And in fact, most people who come are at the point where there's a court hearing before a judge to deal with the issue, and that's the first time we hear from them. And that's not a problem, but it would be much easier if we were contacted much earlier in the process. And our job is to act as an independent intermediary between a bank and a homeowner, and we often can help homeowners stay in their homes.
And that's really an important thing, because it's a stabilizing of the community when that occurs.
Absolutely. And even though the Great Recession in our country is over in many places, it is not over in this city. Mm-hmm. Historically, the upstate cities have gone into recession earlier and have come out of recession later. And this has been going on for 100 years. But the foreclosure rate in our city has gone up 50 or 60% over a year ago.
Oh my goodness!
Banks have held properties and are held in abeyance and are now moving forward in the process. So there have been several articles in the paper that outline the increase in foreclosures in our county and in our city, and so it's still happening, and it's happening at a greater level than it has in previous years.
Now, I've never had to, knock on wood, never had to face foreclosure. But is this something like if you're facing foreclosure and say you're, I don't know what payments are, say they're $800 a month, but you can only afford $200. Should you still send that $200 in? What, or do people just say, I just can't do it and forget about it? I mean,
most people say they can't do it and literally stop. The best thing you can do if you can't make a mortgage payment is to set up another bank account and put as much as you can into that bank account and call us, and we can help you deal with this.
oh, okay, good. So
There are laws that protect homeowners, and there are some laws in place that came about because of the Great Recession and the housing crisis, excuse me, that allowed homeowners to restructure their mortgages. And it allows banks some latitude, and it also allows banks to actually receive some reimbursement for restructuring loans to people of low income.
Oh, okay.
So there are plenty of opportunities to fix the situation. And even if it comes down to the worst possible scenario, which is to lose your home, then we have ways that we can help people. Transitional counseling is one of the things we do out of many steps in the foreclosure process.
Well, it's important, I think, for people because your home is where you live, so you really want to protect that investment. And people aren't upside down like they used to be, with where they would give loans for a humongous amount for people who couldn't afford those loans. They don't do that anymore, do they?
Well, the result of that, excuse me, the being upside down on a loan is the result of buying when the market was high and then having prices fall, which occurred during the Great Recession.
that was-
So some of those mortgages are still around, and many people going through foreclosure are upside down and have a problem with the actual worth of the house related to the amount of the mortgage that's due.
Yeah, okay. Because
So-
I knew that was a big thing maybe about 10 years ago. You heard a lot about that.
Sure.
But we're talking also about taking a building and fixing it up. Now, is this like where you put sweat equity into it, or how does that work?
That's a great question. I'm glad you came back to that because that is our core mission. Our core mission is to fix up or build new homes that are affordable for the residents of the city. And we are not a Habitat for Humanity. They're a sister agency, and they do require their buyers to provide some sweat equity, but we do not. We typically do a total rehabilitation of a house, and we stabilize every system in the home for the long term so that someone who is an affordable home owner, and what that means is someone who has 80% or less of the area median income. And in our city,
80% or less, okay.
yeah, in our city, that's about $30,000 a year or less income for a household. And so we typically rehab the house totally, and then when the homeowner buys it, they simply have to make a payment for the mortgage and the taxes over the long term, because many folks of low, moderate income cannot afford, a major upgrade or a new furnace. Or so the part of our work is to make sure that we, excuse me, hand off a property that's stable and over the long term. And in our industry, it's called sustainability. So it's a big part of what we do.
Because you don't want to sell a property or get people onto a property where it's, there's just no way that they can come up ahead on this because now they've got to do the put in the wiring, or they find out that the plumbing or the hot water heater went. You're overwhelmed.
That's right. And many folks who are our home buyers and homeowners, this is the first time in the life of their family that someone is a homeowner. So in general, our home buyers do not have the personal resources, and I mean that in a very broad sense, the understanding of home ownership, the family legacy of owning a home. Probably you and I grew up, sitting around a kitchen table where the mortgage was discussed. It was talked about how to keep the house up, about what it takes to own and be a good neighbor and all those things. Well, if you're a first-time home buyer of your entire family, None of those discussions took place. It is not part of the knowledge base of the family.
No.
So this is really a big step. And so to help people make that step, we provide the counseling and the homeownership opportunity. It's really important for our city. Over the 49 years, Better Neighborhoods is the largest redeveloper and developer in the city of Schenectady. We have fixed up hundreds of homes, 300 or 400 homes.
That's wonderful.
It is, and we have, as an agency, counseled thousands of households in order to either buy a home or stay in their home. And it's a part of the city's community service agencies that most people don't know or understand.
Yeah, and that's why you're here.
That's why I'm here.
Yeah, that's right. And is this part of the HOMES program that?
Better Neighborhoods is a member of the Mayor's Homes program, and an important component. Excuse me, because we provide housing counseling. So pretty much anyone who is interested in buying a home can come to us, and we will help them understand the process. And in many cases, we can help people provide or have financial assistance for folks. One of the most underknown parts of buying a home as a first-time home buyer of modest means is that if you set up a First Home Club savings account with a member bank, you can receive a grant from the Federal Home Loan Bank for $4 or $5 for every dollar you save. Yeah. The federal government will match for first-time home buyers. It's a wonderful step up.
It's a great program, and that's what you're here to tell us about.
Right. And so it's a wonderful step up.
Is there a money, is your income involved with this? I mean,
yes, you do have to be, as I said, 80% of median
okay.
income
So
or less.
That's to get into that program.
To get into the program.
Yeah.
And most assistance by the federal government and the state is targeted at folks at 80% of median income or less.
Because you want them to step up
That's
and
right.
kind of move up into the hierarchy of our socioeconomic.
Right. And because home ownership is one of the most important ways that families develop equity and assets.
Yeah, yeah. And it gives them a feeling of stability and roots.
That's right, of stability and of the neighborhood and community.
Right. Well, thank you so much, Dan.